the water's, every time I turn my sink on, the water squirts out of my toilet. Like, you're the one that's there, and you're expected to, well, you're the cops. Like, what do you mean you can't help me? And then now you've got to deal with it. I'm not a plumber, but okay, let me go see what I can do to keep the water squirting out of your toilet when you turn your sink on. And
it's tough once you walk in to walk away and abandon somebody. That's how you get sucked into it.
Yeah, and you're expected to be it's like well, you're the cops. You're supposed to be here to help us and fix it. And sometimes you want to go, yeah, I'm a cop, I'm not a plumber, but you can't. So you're like, all right, let's see what we can do here to help you out.
And sometimes there's an interest in a call because it's just curiosity, and it's going to be bizarre. and it's on the ambulance, we would have that from time to time. The amount of people, without going into detail, that get stuck in places they shouldn't be, and things stuck in things. It's just amazing. It's like behind these nice, normal homes, there's just different things going on. And it's just people are, you find somebody who's just at the end, their dignity is gone, and they just have called you because everything they've tried has been done. And, I got in trouble years ago in the ambulance because I just chuckled, and I apologized to the man. I said, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I've been doing this for years, and nothing got me ready for what I saw there. I mean, it's no disrespect, but you got to find some humor and stuff. And see, and that's part of the problem in emergency services, and specifically police work, is that somebody may peek in and see that chuckle and take that as the whole incident now by putting that on film.
Think you're being insensitive?
I may lean over the fence with my phone and just show the lieutenant or the sergeant or the patrolman at the time, and look at this, cop throws deer on roof of house out of rage. That's not the whole story.
Yeah, definitely. As much as I would like to see video of that, I'm kind of glad. I'm kind of glad it doesn't exist. I'm sure that would surface at my retirement party or something if it did. But
well, and that's what this new generation is going to face. Is they're going to face a lifetime of their video, their world being documented, and just those moments that you kind of think you want to see, but when you look back on, they're not as romantic as you remember, and you're just horrified at your behavior, because everything is documented now. It's like when I find an old picture of myself, or somebody sends me, hey, I found this picture. I go, wow, I can stare at a still picture.
Right.
I just go, whoa, I don't remember that, but I can't imagine. Hey, here's the video of you at this party. You remember you were dancing? And like, no, and that's what they're going to have. And half of the stuff is up on, you see stuff on Instagram or YouTube right away. And it would be nice to have some of it, but I think a lot of things that happen, we, romanticize. And I thank God that there was no internet when I was growing up.
Oh, yes.
It would have been so bad, because, just foolish decisions and just things that you don't know how you survived and everything, just having everything documented. I think that puts so much pressure on people now because they've got to live with the permanent, results of whatever they do, because they get it on tape. I mean, there are so many people I can get together with old friends, and there are so many things we've agreed to never speak of again in our lives. And I guess I see in law enforcement, video helps you a lot, as far as, I guess, prosecuting people, proving things or whatever. But I think I don't like cameras myself. I don't like them aimed at me. Let me state it that way. That's the more hypocritical response. I don't like them aimed at me, but I also think that I'm at an age where I'm so dull. There's really nothing of interest. It's going to be caught on camera, and I see so many people. I have cameras there, and I put up at my house, and I've learned things I don't want to know about my world by looking at the cameras. I don't, I've learned, the lovemaking habits of the nocturnal cat is one thing, and there's a lot of stuff that I think there's too much information out there. We were talking before about younger people in education experience, I think that we as human beings are not made to have access to all this information. It used to be we would pick an area of expertise and own it. Well, now we're all these amazing generalists with this reference device, this Oracle at Delphi that we can pull up anything, but we never quite learn anything. We just refer to it, we just refer to it.
Yeah, I kind of, you miss the days of, and they still exist. I guess the official terminology we would use for them is a subject matter expert, but somebody that can sit and talk for an hour about a topic without having to look at his phone or look something up. And I think a little bit of that is lost to technology. And video definitely serves its purpose, and it's never going away. So it's kind of one of those things as an old hat you have to kind of learn to deal with and make it work as best as you can for you. Make it a positive and use it as such. But it's kind of like you said, I'd much rather not know how large my bald spot or my belly have gotten, and seeing myself in video can oftentimes be reminders of each. So
I remember there was a friend's wedding video, and I saw that I was losing my hair, from the back. It panned, and I was like, whoa, back that up. What is that? Is that glare? What is that? And it was like this denial, or you catch yourself and you go, and you go, putting on a little weight, because you tend to rationalize it on a daily basis, and and then you see, you catch the wrong angle, and you're like, woof,
And sometimes that can be good. It might be nice motivation to get back into the gym a little bit more than you used to. Or
I got a buddy who does that. He gains 20 pounds and then buys another gym membership. Like when you buy the membership, that's the whole commitment. And you think, I've gained weight, I better get another membership. And it doesn't work that way. You have to go to the gym. But I mean, you're in good shape.
I try. I know I'm not in as good of shape as I used to be, so that's bothersome to me. But
you can't be. You're not supposed to chase down somebody half your age. You're supposed to point.
That's true. And tell other people to go get them. That's what they make radios for, right?
Yeah. Nobody
went that way.
Yeah, nobody outruns a Motorola. You're supposed to go get them, boys. Go get them. And you get to the age where. We used to joke about when we were younger, and you turn into the person, you turn into the police officer who doesn't jump right out of the car and run. You turned into more of the drive up and grab the person. Right.
That we actually had he had been on the department over 30 years, an older guy before he retired, one of our officers, and literally one night we were chasing myself as a sergeant and a bunch of younger cops than me at the time were out chasing some burglars around that were in a commercial industrial area, and they were stealing scrap metal and copper and stuff like that. So we're out literally chasing them through parking lots and woods, and he sat in his car listening to the radio, waiting to hear which way they were going, and quite literally put his car in park in the middle of the street out in front of the business as he heard they were running that way, and got out and stood there. And the guy popped out right where he knew he would from our radio transmissions. And literally at that point, I guess, figured the chase was up. He knew we were behind and maybe he was getting tired. But so we all come running up out of breath, and there he stands. And he gets out of his car and walks around very slowly and casually and opens the back door up. And the guy runs across the parking lot and just gets right in.
See, that's experience.
So that is truly experience. And then from that point on, everybody was like, he didn't even break a sweat,
Yeah. That's experience. That's what makes the difference. You said you have a son.
Yes.
What do you want him to do? Whatever he wants, of course, is the answer.
Yeah, of course. Whatever he wants to do to be happy. Now, for a long, long time, he talked about being a cop. He's kind of actually shifted. His most recent thing is, Dad, I want to get into like fire rescue and stuff along those lines. So he's definitely got himself aimed at public safety. And at this point, he's old enough that it's not, I don't think it's not just like a little kid wanting to play cop anymore. So I don't know if that's where he's going to end up or not. I guess like every other teenager, he's like, well, either that or something with computers.
Yeah, so, I don't know where the ends or something with computers just comes from somewhere. I either want to be a surgeon or something with computers. And it's such a...
That's the backup for everybody nowadays.
The good thing about wanting to do fire or something is that he can... It's one of those rare things that you have an opportunity when you're young to experiment with it, and see if it's something you want to do as a career.
Right. And he is about to turn 16. So I've already told him, I was like, hey, I became an EMT myself when I was 16. Like, there's a good starting point. Get into it. See if you can do it, become a junior volunteer someplace, and you're young enough where you can test it out and see if that's really something you want to do. And have that decision made before it gets to the point that you're out of school and need to make it.
Yeah, I think that it's funny. My godson's doing the computer thing where he doesn't know what he wants to do, but something with computers. And part of the reason I like to talk to people on the show is I don't think that people realize that there's different careers out there. I think there's rich investment banker, rock star, sports star, media mogul, or I don't think they think of anything else as careers. When you're a little younger than I am, but when I grew up at school, we had career counselors, and there were all kinds of jobs. I mean, they did testing and everything, and I don't know why they did the testing, because everybody seemed to come out with the same answer. It's like, you should be a park ranger. It was always park ranger.
It's funny you mention that, because I think when we took those tests in school, that was my top one.
Yeah, I'm
pretty sure I was supposed to be a park ranger too.
Everybody was supposed to be a park ranger. It was like DCNR had funded this to recruit rangers, because it was like they make you fill out all these things. You had to fill in little circles. It's like, you'd be best as a park ranger. It's like, how can every human being that goes to this school be best geared to be one profession? There's not a single doctor among us. We're all park rangers, and nobody became a park ranger. Nobody I know became a park ranger.
I don't have a single friend that became a park ranger.
Yeah.
I do have a cousin who actually went to college to be a park ranger and never became a park ranger. He's not a park ranger either.
But usually when they go to college, they become a park manager, which is different. But yeah, it's funny, because with the aptitude, and you don't know what you're going to do, but people in law enforcement, educators, and journalists are like three professions I see that just know it at the onset. I always talk about we had a chief federal justice on here, and he never imagined being anything else. He never imagined being anything else. And usually you ask what they do, and they don't know. They don't know what they would do. It's like we had talked about Bruce Castor, and he just knew. He was another one of those people that just knew that's what he wanted to do. And I respect that, because those are people that really drive a profession, versus, people that dabble and change jobs and have no commitment and just bounce. And it's like, this is the time of year. I call this, and people will hate this, I call this kind of, it's like we're getting into slacker season. This is where all the people that work really hard and put in 110% and everything are forced by their employers to take time off going into the fall.
Yeah.
So when you go into the fall, like November, you're definitely working with the B team. These are the guys that burned up their vacation time in March of last year, and they're in there, and all the other guys are being forced to go home, or you're going to lose the time. And I learned that the hard way when I had to go in the hospital, and going in for surgery. Don't go in during the holidays or in the fall. You do not want to do that, because you're getting people that are prepping you and going like, man, I don't want to be here. Like, hey, how about a little encouragement here? How many people are in your department?
We are currently 38 officers.
Okay.
So, and that's actually considered a mid-sized department. I mean, being this close to the city, you have Philadelphia, it's got thousands of officers on the force, and a lot of people tend to think about that, and that is true. And there are departments that are that big, and those are your bigger city departments are typically the ones you see in the news. So, a lot of times people assume that all police departments are that big, and I think nationally the average size for a police department throughout the whole country I don't know if it includes the big city numbers or if you take the big cities out of it and look at other departments that aren't big, huge cities, the average number of officers in the police department is like 10 or 12 or something.